And we are live. Scarcity versus abundance. Let's dive in. All right. If you have met with us before or been part of any of our workshops before, you will know that we love to touch on the difference between hard skills and soft skills. So hard skills, these are your technical skills such as accounting, data and analysis, digital marketing. Where we really like to spend a lot of our time is developing soft skills or people skills. Often these are things that need to be developed, right? I think that we all can have a little bit more self-awareness, be better with our social cues, better at problem solving. And so this is one of the main things that when we do team building workshops or professional development, we always like to be developing these soft skills. We know based on statistics, your overall career success is actually 85 to 90% dependent on your soft skills. So today, talking about these mindsets, it's really all of them if we're being honest, but we're really going to hone in on the self-awareness piece and also that emotional intelligence. So you can be more aware, but also why, like where is it coming from? Where is this mindset coming from? So let's go ahead and talk about these two different mindsets. So first, we have the scarcity mindset. So something that I want to talk about is our mind holds the power to shape our reality. It doesn't mean that this reality is true, but what we constantly really truly believe shapes our reality. So the scarcity mindset, this focuses on limitations, fear. It is really rooted in the belief that resources are limited. So this does lead to fear, competition, a reluctance to share because you believe that there's really just not enough to go around. So a lot of times, the language that we use reveals our mindset. So whether it is a scarcity or an abundance mindset, I want to actually go through some different words that oftentimes are associated with these mindsets. So as I go down this, I want you to be thinking, man, do I say that? Is this a word that's in my vocabulary that I need to be swapping out? Or it could be something that you hear other people say. So a lot of times with the scarcity mindset, you hear words like lack, like we don't have enough, there aren't enough. Fear, right? Well, I'm afraid we're going to run out of time. I'm fearful about this decision. Competition, right? We need to outdo others. It's other people. It's a threat to us. The word can't. We can't afford to take risks. We can't share too much information. And then this limitation. So this could be like our budget limitation hinders innovation. We are limited in what we can achieve. And oftentimes we limit ourselves, right? Like, I don't know for any of you if you're a parent, or I'm sure all of us in here have friends, but a lot of times we can recognize some of this in other people, but oftentimes we don't always recognize this within ourselves. And so that's something else that I just want to bring to the table is like, how many of you have heard maybe from a friend, a family member, or it's like, oh, I can't do that. That's too scary. I can't, gosh, I could never speak in front of a group of people. I could never create that design, right? So it's like we hear it in other people and we're like, man, you're limiting yourself. But how many of us have said the same exact thing? So now I want to talk a little bit about abundance. So with the abundance mindset, this is where you see just abundance in everything. So you see opportunity, resources, and the possibilities. It's plentiful and shareable. So some of the words commonly associated with this mindset are words like opportunity, right? Oh, well, it's an opportunity. You can't do that, or it's an opportunity to grow. Collaboration, growth, generosity, possibility, and can. So, well, I know it's really uncomfortable, but I know that I can do this if I do the research. I know that we can tap into this market and figure out if it is the right market that we should be a part of or not. Hey, it's a possibility, especially if you're in a sales position. I know that I've gone to networking events before and I'm like, oh, there's not enough people here. Have you ever been in a room and you're like, oh, this is awkward, there's only like 3 people, versus trying to see the opportunity and the possibilities of the people who are in the room with you. So when you can go into a space with this mindset, all of a sudden you're not limiting yourself. So This is some words associated with these mindsets. So let's go ahead and just kind of dive into how your mindset affects others. A scarcity mindset doesn't just affect you and how you see the world, but it affects everyone around you. You know, it's easy to be blinded by your mindset and not realizing how it affects the people around you, especially in a leadership position. So this manifests in various ways, often hindering, growth, collaboration, innovation within a team or an organization. So your mindset, I think sometimes we think of it as like, oh, that's something that, it's hidden. No one knows deep down like how I feel or see things. But the thing about it is it does show, right? It does show in behavior, your words, your actions. Ultimately, your clients, your vendors, your team, if you have a team, they also see this. So let's talk about how this affects others. So within a scarcity mindset in leadership, again, with anyone you communicate with, a lot of times they will hoard information. So this is where, you believe that knowledge is power and fearing that if you share it, it could diminish your control or your importance. Micromanaging. This one's tough. So you might feel the need to control every aspect of a project, fearing that others might not do it as well, or that they will be seen, or you will be seen as dispensable. Sometimes we take on too much, thinking that that makes us more valuable. Fear of delegating. This might be a reluctance to delegate tasks, responsibilities, fearing that others will outshine you or that there won't be enough recognition to go around. So these are those affirmations. Competitive work environment. A person with a scarcity mindset, especially if they believe there's not enough to go around, what they end up doing is they create a very competitive work environment. And this is where you're actually pitting team members against each other in an effort to highlight indispensability. Have you heard of the phrase like, oh, I gotta, climb up the ladder, but meanwhile you're throwing everyone else down off the ladder? It's ultimately, this is from the belief that there isn't enough to go around for everyone. So this is not a healthy working environment. Resistant to change. So this is fearing that it could disrupt the, current structure, or it could diminish your influence. So just a quick example for this is maybe it's a client. Maybe it is like a friend or moving, and all of a sudden you're like, well, I've established myself with this client. Like, I don't want to lose, I don't want to maybe transfer this client to someone else. But ultimately, where's that fear stemming from? Where is it coming from? And then, of course, we have blame others. So instead of taking responsibility for our own mistakes, leaders with this type of mindset may blame external factors or other people, fearing that, if they do acknowledge a mistake, that this could actually weaken their position with the person. So I'd like to think that we sometimes do these things with good intentions, but ultimately the message that your team, your vendors, your clients receive, this could lead to poor, untrusted relationships. So we really need to be mindful if we're doing some of these things. But let's go ahead and talk about abundance real quick. So when we look at what an abundance mindset looks like, now we have transparency, right? Recognizing that a well-informed team is more likely to contribute to the organization's success. Instead of, micromanaging, you are developing your team, right? This is an opportunity for them to develop their skills and contribute to the collective success. Are they, doing it as fast as you? Maybe not, but ultimately you're developing them. Delegate. This is where, you can view it as an opportunity for them to also contribute, right? And learn and develop. And instead of a competitive work environment, you have a collaborative work environment. And so this is where, you recognize that teamwork and diverse perspectives, this actually contributes to a greater innovation and success overall. And then you embrace change. So this is an opportunity for adaptation and improvement, understanding that it leads to growth and innovation. And instead of blaming others, this person takes responsibility. So this person understands that mistakes do not equal failure. And when you're able to see mistakes as opportunities to develop and grow, you are actually setting an example for others to follow. You know, would you judge your teammate or client or whoever this relationship is if they were honest about their mistakes? Maybe a tiny bit, but ultimately you'd be thankful for their transparency because now you can actually move forward. So it's really important to recognize and overcome the scarcity mindset to ultimately foster a more positive and growth-oriented organizational culture. So leaders who embrace an abundance mindset are more likely to inspire collaboration, innovation, and overall success. And we're building trust. We talk about trust all the time. So we want to make sure that we are building trust, not creating barriers. So I'm going to briefly touch on this as we wrap this up. Sometimes we don't know why we have this mindset. And so something that, you know, we touch on a lot is what you truly believe, whether it's true or not. It ultimately then moves to your thoughts. It then moves to your emotions, and then it pours out through your behavior. And so sometimes if we're not quite sure why we're acting the way we're acting, so if we're saying some of those words, but you're like, I don't even know why I'm saying can't and I'm limited, right? Then sometimes look at what your emotion is. Are you scared? Are you fearful? Are you intimidated? What is that emotion? And then what are the thoughts that is triggering that emotion? Are you thinking, well, I'm not good enough? Are you thinking, well, if I pass this to someone else, I could get fired, right? Like what thought is triggering that emotion? And then now you can really try to figure out what it is that you truly believe, and is it true or is it not true? So obviously, this takes time. This is not something that is like really easy and quick to develop, but when we have this awareness, now we can start to really figure out what is making me act this way or say this or, you know, impacting a team in these ways. A quote by the great Ted Lasso, for those of you who have seen Ted Lasso, is, I love this. I do love a locker room. It smells like potential. Right? So it is the mindset that he had going into a locker room. He could go in and be like, oh, this stinks. Everyone needs to take a bath and wash their clothes. And, oh, we need to get a janitor in here, right? Instead, he's like, there's people, there are humans in here, and I cannot wait to develop this team. It is your mindset. Anytime you walk into a situation or you're in front of someone, your mindset is really what makes a difference. So we have lots of available resources. So we have blogs on our website. Also, please follow us on YouTube. We post this professional development segment every month to our YouTube channel. And of course, follow us on the social media. We're always posting different tidbits, or just call us. So if you're curious how this might affect you personally, please give us a call. We would love to just talk with you more about it. We are actually going to open this up for some discussion. So I'm going to pose a question to all of you. And after I say the question, I'm going to go on ahead and stop the recording so you all can come off mute. So the question that I want you to be thinking about today is, you know, think about the language that you use daily. What behaviors, emotions, or thoughts do you have that may reflect a scarcity mindset? And how can you consciously shift your language to embrace abundance?